since I was younger, scribbling on paper has been natural, so much so that I've obsessed over it with such an intensity that it annoyed me that my lines weren't how I pictured them, and I worked very hard, and now my lines are how I want them. And they're all inspired from the experience of schizophrenia and bipolar, so schizoaffective, because it gives you a half here and a half there kind of experience constantly. So, yeah.
Tears consumed by ocean sands, the tides to go where the moon demands. Find me warming up romance. I won't give way to your command. I will find a way to live my day today. Scream and you shout, I'll find my way back out to places
Hello. Hello there. Oh, two people. Cool, cool. Do, 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 do. Oh, three people. Cool. Hey, guys. What's up today? What are you guys doing? Goodbye. I'm not going live together. Sorry about that. No way.
They want you?
Just so you guys know, my twin brother is here. Tristan Grant. He goes by Wolfcastle. He's a rapper. But he's being a cameraman for me right now because I got a grant to do kind of like a live stream. So you're going to be part of that, where I'm doodling and talking with you guys, which I think is cool because it's done by Heritage Canada. So I'm just happy to do the live stream. It's pretty cool. All right. 7 people. Cool. Hello. I'm having me a schizo doodle time. And by that I mean kind of got to just let it flow right now. Hi. What's up, strawberries and bleach? Nice to see ya. 10 people. Cool. I'm doing some art right now. I'm like I said to people earlier, I have this commission with Canada Heritage, and they want to do some sort of like I do a live stream, and my brother is recording over there. I wish I could point the camera, but he's right there. And yeah. Yeah, go order your food from your DoorDash. It's no worries. I don't take it personally. I'm just doodling. So I'm hoping to make a pretty cool drawing. What's my creative process? It kind of evolved over time. It started with I didn't want to sit in class, and I didn't want to do a lot of the work. And not because I didn't like learning, but because I just couldn't focus naturally, and so I just doodled all the time. And I don't know, at this point my creative process is a lot to do with the schizophrenia that I have, where I have to kind of channel the energy that I absorb every day, because every person who talks to me, every sound I hear, it's very amplified with the schizophrenia, and it causes me to if I take too much in one moment, I can get overstimulated. And so I decided to find a way to store that energy so that when I make art, I express it. So simply put, it's just expression. My creative process is pure expression of what I experience and what I see, psychologically and physically and mentally. So, I mean, psychologically, but yeah, I gotta get these guys out. The 333. Oh, I also peed and farted and shitted. I understand, man. Holy crap, I do it every day. The 333 stands for, it's kind of like you're watched by spirits or guided by spirits. And to me, spirits is a quantum kind of thing. I don't, like, I'm not about, like, the whole idea, like, I guess how ghosts are portrayed naturally, but I really do think that, the universal energy finds a way into your mind and creates these archetypes and entities, but just because it's not physically real doesn't make the experience and how they talk with you less real. So I express my art because everywhere I look, it goes in and out. I see faces coming out of walls and out of doors, all plasmic, and yeah. So, and yeah, it's cool that you said you draw the faces. You can send it to me on Instagram because I really look at those messages. I don't look at TikTok messages. But yeah, I'll draw and talk. I forgot. But I really get into a mood too whenever I'm making the faces and stuff. Like at first, I draw an eyeball, getting it started, and then as I'm drawing, it's common that I start to hallucinate on the side of my peripheral vision, and so I start getting ideas from the expressions that I see on the faces. And it sounds weird, but I can feel the expression too coming out of the line work, and it's very alive to me. And so to honor it, I have to draw it. Because when I don't draw it, it seems to upset the faces, and not in a scary way. Just like I don't feel like I'm doing my purpose, so I make sure that I do what I gotta do. So yeah. Okay. Maybe I can get a better angle where you guys can see me drawing more there. I sound like Ethan Klein. Oh boy. What do they say? It's kind of like glossolalia, so I guess speaking in tongues, but it's kind of like a friend described to me, like they got super stoned before and they started hearing like a, and I think that weed can be like a kind of schizophrenia simulator, because like I hear that day to day without drugs. Like it's just a constant, like I'm in the real world and then I'm out of the real world and I'm in it again, and it is like elf chatter, or like almost like humanoid kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like TV static mixed with speaking in tongues, and it's a constant like, and just the tone and the syntax and the intention behind the tone and the vibration of it, you can tell if they're angry or happy or sad. And it's often a reflection of something that I'm feeling too. And so they are me and I am it, but it's still very like, it's uncanny. It's just, the best way I can put it is I just like to draw them. They give me company, and I haven't had an experience that was bad with them for a couple months now, actually. But I take my mood stabilizing medication and make sure that I'm good. So, um, diagnosed with early onset schizophrenia. Have any advice for me going forward? Yes, I do. Don't smoke weed. It makes it worse, I promise you. I know that might be hard if you do, but it's harder to organize yourself or stay hygienic and stay okay if you're constantly stoned. So, I've heard them say actual words, and it comes out into this space too, physically, but it was mostly in moments where I'm really stressed out or really traumatized by something. You can like almost hear something telling you, like I've heard something tell me before 2 years ago when I was living in Montreal, Canada. It was telling me to jump in front of traffic, and it was like an English voice. It was like, jump in front of traffic, and I was like, okay. But I didn't do it. But it's the best way I can put it for how to ignore it is information, or not ignore it, but how to deal with schizophrenia is have the information, but don't listen to just one person's experience, and don't listen to just one doctor's opinion, because schizophrenia is a complicated phenomena, and the only way that I got out of pure hell is by researching it myself and talking to doctors at the same time and figuring it out through just trial and error. I didn't want to sit on one theory or one thing, or so I listened to the words of Terence McKenna and what he had to say on schizophrenia, and I listened to a few doctors that I knew in real life, a few of them on YouTube. I talked to nurses every now and then. So yeah, do I have a hard time sleeping? I do if I don't draw. Like if I don't draw in a day or make an art piece or at least practice drawing, I get really irritated. And it's like the faces and the voices get intense when I'm laying in bed, and it's like they're instructing me to like go to town or go to the beach and draw something or do something, and it's because they are energy and they need to come out. So I have a hard time with that. If I don't follow a routine that I came up with, you know what I mean? I need my routine and I need to be able to deviate from it at certain times of the day. Um, Another tip for dealing with schizophrenia is keep it simple. You don't have to complicate everything, and even if you want to experience certain things now when you're young, life is pretty long, especially if you have schizophrenia. The days can be pretty long, especially if it's exhausting because it does take up energy, especially if it's in the negative. But yeah, do the voices like my art? They see themselves as art. So they're kind of just the best way I can put it is like, whenever something is calling to you to like, oh man, I need that ice cream cone, it's calling me, and you say it as a joke. Well, imagine it actually is like, thank you for purchasing me. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, the voices can be grateful. They can be like, thank you for drawing us. And I go, you're welcome. And every night when I'm locking up at the place that I make art, which is my side job at a museum, I always say good night to like all the entities that I feel and all the spirits. And I just go, all right, guys, see you later, see you tomorrow. And it doesn't creep me out. Very old building. Um, I'm not scared of abandoned buildings or dark places anymore because I feel like I know what to expect, unless it's a human. If it's a person, then I'm freaked out because way unpredictable and physical suffering is a threat, right? But specters, ghosts, entities, things like that, no. It's just at a point I love, like I'll talk to a mannequin and have a great time. Am I religious? No. I'm spiritual, but I believe in energy, and I also believe in quantum infinity, or that, what is that called again? It's like quantum consciousness is infinite, and if we are quantum beings operating in a physical third dimension, then something is driving that force. And so it's not just chemicals in the brain, and the brain is literally just a computer making sense of the universal mind. And so when people have like schizophrenia or OCD or depression or BPD or anything like that, derealization, I truly think that it's like your brain is a car and a vehicle, like your body's a vehicle, and something's not responding to the receiver isn't receiving the transmission properly. And so suddenly you have a hard time in this dimension trying to like go through physical life and growth, and it becomes difficult, and it would be difficult for anybody. Um, but I'm not the type to disregard faces and voices as just made up in your head, because sometimes the things they do and say are a little too synchronistic and a little too accurate. And I was rational, very scientific person, and very, very like I'd fight you to the death about ghosts and stuff like that. And now it's like there's a you just best way I can put it is this. Okay, guys, I'll draw it out for you. All right. So yes, I do have schizophrenia. The best way that I can explain it is this. If you're like an ego, right? This is the ego. And you have like all these archetypes within the ego. Like, oh, I like to be, I like sports. I like, I like popcorn. Like, it's just stuff that makes up who your personality is. I love cats or sharks or whatever. I have gotten to a state of consciousness where that is completely dead, like way beyond like just a typical like ego death. to a point where it was reduced all the way down to literally like one dimensional dot of consciousness. And I came back and I was able to talk and articulate and kind of pretend I was okay. But the truth was, for the last 6 years, I've been going through the hoops of regaining some sense of, I wouldn't say sanity in a normal way, but sanity, yeah, sanity for me, things that make me happy and make me feel okay, and having to not stigmatize myself. So I looked at it from a perspective of, I'm not crazy and I'm not stupid. I feel like it sometimes, but I'm here to figure out what's going on. And that's why I got obsessed with researching and learning. Um, and it sucks because, especially schizophrenia, when you research things, you can go down some rabbit holes that end up being just conspiracy theory, which I don't really have time for personally in research anymore. Because I like to take not just my experience, but multiple people with schizophrenia's experiences. You know what I mean? What keeps you alive? Art, drawing, the people that I love, the fact that I think bugs are cute and I want to pick up moths and have fun with them, and you know what I mean? Like, I love life, and I always have since I was a kid. Even though I went through a nihilistic phase when I was a teenager, and it was really bad, like really angsty, like really bad. Um, I kind of found a way to, you slowly blossom, you open up like you're a flower again, and a lot of the stuff that you realize you left behind as a kid were actually tools that can help you as an adult, like intuition or gut feeling. Now, if I don't feel good somewhere, I don't force myself there because that's what everyone else is doing. I can't do that. It's painful. It hurts. So, no, I only started developing it when I was 19, so it was 6 years ago. I have a cousin with schizophrenia. I appreciate hearing your story. Thank you. I appreciate that people care. Because when I started this TikTok, I was sure that I was going to get friggin' exiled, and I was more paranoid back then. My voices were more like, everyone hates you. Ah, they're going to kill you. Ah, and I would lock myself in my room, and yeah. Your boyfriend was diagnosed with schizophrenia 2 years ago, and it was hard. Yeah, it's really hard. When it starts, you feel like it's really catatonic, out of control, irritable. You're ready to it's it's crazy. There were experiences where I've been isolated or I was in the middle of the woods for a long time, up to 5 days at one point, and I would wake up with spiders on me all the time and like dirt, and like I felt like a real gremlin, real goblin, and very feral. And when you're in those states and you don't have anything to typically entertain you, and I'm predisposed to schizophrenia because my family has it in our genetics. Like, there's a lot of people in my family that have it, like psychosis issues too, and like just things like that. And I went through an intense trauma involving my family where I lost someone, and I ended up like snapping, I guess. And I was ready for it because I was always sensitive and stressed out, but my brain couldn't take it anymore. And then I was diagnosed with manic depression first and anxiety. And then as we kept going, they thought it might be borderline. And then I started hallucinating. And it wasn't just regular, like, hallucination psychosis of shadow people. Like, things were really speaking and coming out, and you know what I mean? And so, oh, you have schizoaffective disorder, you relate. Yeah! And it is dissociative, like, I'm not ashamed to admit it, but even right now, I think that death is the least scary thing, and the most scary thing is like physical pain or torture. That's like the scariest thing. But death is just, it just feels like birth. It's a transition, Like, and I think that Western society needs to reflect more on death in a positive light because I've dealt with death before, um, in many different instances, from human to animal, in the sense that like you lose someone. Like I lost my grandfather recently, and it makes you reflect on certain things. And growing up, there was a lot of like car crashes and news that people were dying, and just like I remember, just it was common to see like a skinned animal on the side of the road, and you think if it's an animal, it doesn't affect you, but when you're a kid and you grow up on a reserve, there's a eeriness to it when you're a kid, especially when you look out at the Western world and everybody seems to be in suburbs and they have all these nice things, and and it's hard. It's a different kind of reality, especially when you're going to school with a bunch of people that don't understand like what it's like. Um, so yeah, just a lot of that stuff. Um, and but the onset like really happened. I did it in a TikTok video recently. I talked about it. My real moment when I knew that I was developing for sure schizophrenia and I had to talk to my doctor was when I was at my university apartment and I heard a voice telling me to go to the local swamp, which was called Waterfowl. And I would wander in there, and I never experienced it like this before, where it was like I was always imaginative, but it became conscious. It started talking to me, and I was the kind of person that's like, I'm not ready to believe these things. I just wanted to drink in university and just party or something. And I just got sideswiped by this entity that just met me and was like, hey, and I try to honor the experience that I've been through, because at first it's terrifying, but you kind of go a couple years and you have these beautiful moments where it's just you and it in the water and the flowers and the trees, and you realize that everything, like whether it shapeshifts into something that's horned and scary monster to one of the faces, they're all trying to tell you something. And it's like they really, really are trying to tell you something. Yeah, they all feel like different voices, but they all come from a similar source point. So I think it's like interacting with your shadow almost, but it's coming out as archetypes and entities. You know what I mean? And I really do think that it is in my head, but I think it's in my head coming from the universal source. The same as how like our thoughts operate, or how we get a thought in the imagination before we bring it into this world and create art or structures or just anything, language, like it all has to come from somewhere, because humor existed before we did to perceive it. Our brains had to actually catch up with the universal mind for us to understand it, start dissecting it, start thinking about it. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm constantly fascinated with, is that this voice in my head almost feels ancient, but I never say that. But I follow it whenever it says something nice, and I treat it like a billboard where if I don't, a voice can be like, hey, do you want to eat at Subway? Maybe I just don't want to eat at Subway, and so I ignore the billboard. Does that make sense? I don't have to listen to every voice, but I'm going to listen to the voices that are wonderful. You know what I mean? So, the voices right now are telling me that I hope I'm not coming off too crazy, but I always am, and to someone. So I can't listen to the voices that are hypercritical. So, oh, howdy. But yeah, because I could sit all day and pick myself apart with what the voices are telling me, but now I take it as it's just hyper information. It's just intel coming at me a mile a minute. And so I try to keep a sense of humor. So me and my brother laugh a lot and tell a lot of jokes and hang out, and things like that help. Love is really important. So, yeah. Someone just said I need Jesus. I get that every day. You need Jesus. I really appreciate the sentiment, but I just don't believe in Jesus. I believe in the energy behind Jesus, but I don't believe like he was a person. But I think that what you call Jesus is what we call like an example of a consciousness that's vibrating pretty high. So I would love to start a podcast. That would be really cool, actually. That'd be super cool. Because I could talk forever. I like talking. Um, yeah. The side profiles are always fun to draw. I like noses. I like drawing the eyes. I like mixing it together and creating like a... Yeah. Yeah, Jesus was a person but not a god. I can agree with that completely. They all want me to start a podcast. They're all going, podcast. I don't mind answering questions about medication. I don't take antipsychotics because, personally, I don't like it, but I'm not going to advocate not taking it. But I do take mood stabilizers, and what I take is Effexor XR because I feel extreme intensities and I need to calm it down. So, yeah. They said, God bless you, twin brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my brother's so nice. By the way, just one last thing I want to say about Jesus, Buddha, Vrishna, or Vishnu, all that. I feel like they're like, and I say this with respect, I don't say it in a way that's trying to like trivialize it, but to me they're like mascots for the same energy. Like if a person is wearing a suit and they're a brand or they're acting as a character, I feel like the universal mind, or what people call God, puts on a mask and it comes out as whatever is in tune with the culture, the area, and it's like an exchange. And life feels like you're wrestling with an angel, with God, with divinity. And the more you wrestle with it and look into your darkness, the more you heal, because you have no choice but to heal eventually. But the more you run away from it, then you can't do anything and you're stuck. And that was the best lesson I learned from losing my marbles. Anyway, I love you guys. I gotta go now because my brother has to be somewhere. But thank you very much for tuning in. Sorry this was a short one, but I'm gonna do longer ones soon. Anyway, have a good day. Love you all. Peace.
Wait, I want to say bye to everybody.
Yeah, bye, Tristan.
Bye, everybody. This is also currently being filmed. Look at
Yeah.
that. Here's me filming the phone screen. I don't know if it'll pick up, but...
You guys are going to be a part of a little mini film thing.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace out, everybody.
All right.
Okay, where's the stop button? I got it, Tristan. Don't worry, I got it. End the call. Very loving audience.
Yeah.
676 people tuned in.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and the replay is downloading.
Okay.
So I'll download it over lunch. That was cool. All right, time to put it
There it
away.
is. Yay!
Was it cool?
It was really cool. You talked about a lot of cool stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like a nut.
No.
Tears consumed by ocean sands, the tides do go